When we talk about trends in the gaming space, it seems like there's nothing coming even remotely close to the popularity of indie games in recent years. And rightfully so. Titles like Stardew Valley, Balatro, or Vampire Survivors have shown successfully that there is no need for a big budget or massive team to make a compelling game. And that's what the word indie actually stands for. Independent, mostly low-budget games made with a ton of passion and heart. However, the rise of indie games didn't stay unnoticed. Big gaming companies took notes and started to release their own versions of indie games. But why exactly are more and more established companies invading the indie space? What are the methods they use to mislead us? And what kind of consequences does this all have for true indie titles? We'll discuss this and more in today's video. So grab your favorite indie game and get ready to explore the greedy world of corporate indies. I want to answer all these questions looking at a specific, rather recent example that combines everything I've mentioned prior into one. Enter Starsand Island. The game was released a couple of months ago as an early access title. It was marketed as a cozy indie life sim and farming game, a passion project brought to life not only by a supposedly small indie team, but also thousands upon thousands of supporters on Kickstarter. That's right, the game raised over $300,000 in donations last year. Now, you'd think that there would be nothing suspicious about that. Just another small indie team asking for donations to realize their dream game. I mean, Paralives, for example, has been doing that for many years now, rather successfully. So there should be no problem, right? Wrong. As it turns out, the developer Seed Sparkle Labs isn't such a small indie team after all. Rather, it is a studio backed by Kingsoft, a Chinese tech giant worth billions. Mind you, that this has not been disclosed by the developers during the run of the Kickstarter campaign. They only admitted the connection with Kingsoft in an interview long after the campaign had ended. That begs the question, why does a studio backed by a multi-billion-dollar company need to raise funding on Kickstarter? Definitely not because of the money, I can tell you this much. It seems more likely that the developers wanted to build up credibility, to make the indie narrative more believable and push sales. The reasoning behind that is not surprising, although quite alarming. Indie games have built an immense amount of trust in the gaming community. People are more likely to support and back a game if it reads as independent, especially when it comes to financial support. I myself am no stranger to backing indie projects with my own money, which makes it even more shocking that big companies are willing to take advantage of our trust and support to enrich themselves even more. But the deception doesn't stop there. Starsand Island's Kickstarter campaign would not have been such a massive success if the developers hadn't built such a picture-perfect facade. I mean, just look at the game. Nothing screams more indie than the promise of a cute, relaxing, and cozy gaming experience. The soft colors, cute characters, and lo-fi soundtracks paint a big deceptive picture. We are supposed to be blinded by the whimsical world building and tricked into buying the game because of our own expectations built by a misleading narrative, only to find out shortly after that everything was just a hollow shell. And as if all that just wasn't enough, they were able to put an even bigger cherry on top of everything. Shortly after the early access launch, the game got bombed massively by positive reviews, which the developers claimed to be done by competition to harm the game. But thankfully, the statement, instead of earning sympathy, backfired completely. It's a classic corporate play. Create the problem, then play the victim. By blaming competition for the surge of fake reviews, they tried to pivot the narrative back to being the bullied indie underdog, even when the evidence and common sense pointed right back at them. Learning about everything that has happened surrounding Starsand Island left me truly angry and disappointed, especially when it comes to the harm this created not only to the people supporting the game, but also the unrepairable harm that this does to the indie gaming space as a whole. Games like Starsand Island completely tarnish the trust built so painstakingly by true indie devs. and make it even harder for true passion projects to earn said trust and financial support from a burnt community. So, you might be wondering what we, the consumers, should do to protect the indie space from corporate greed. It starts by looking past the soft colors and cozy lo-fi beats, by checking publishers and trademarks, as well as supporting the developers who are actually transparent with their games and plans. Because if we don't, the word indie won't mean anything anymore. It'll just be another marketing tag on a corporate spreadsheet. But what do you think about all of this? Are there any other games that come to mind as using the term indie in a misleading way? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this analysis, a thumbs up would mean a lot. And if you want to see more dives into the shady world of corporate gaming, feel free to stick around and subscribe for more. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.